Remember to subscribe. Cup. May blood be my blade. Death awaits you. Are you hurt, little traveler? Best to be sure you weren't cut by any of those monsters. The blood curse must be treated before it begins to manifest. At that point, it may be too late to save you. Under the sleeves as well. We can't afford to miss anything. No pain anywhere? You're quite lucky, then. Had I not gotten to you sooner, those monsters would have made quick work of you. They crave human flesh, and will hunt down any intruder who tries to brave the forest. Without a guide, you won't make it very far. Unfortunately, I can't escort you through. I have a duty to remain at my castle, in case another traveller finds himself in danger. I came to your aid because I heard your cries for help. If I had offered to aid the last person who came through, you might have not been so lucky to escape with your life. It's been a very long time since someone came through the forest, but it is also a long way through to the other side. If I were you, I wouldn't take my chances. If you'd like, you are more than welcome to stay at the castle. I planned for cases like this well in advance. I have more than enough rooms and food to go around. I don't get many visitors, often as it is. In fact, I relish the chance to accommodate guests for as long as they need to stay. A castle that large should never be made to only house one person. Having someone else around will help liven things up a little. It's a bit of a walk from here, but you'll be safer than if you stay out here. And I can only throw monsters off your scent for so long. The castle's barrier will be able to protect you without me having to constantly stand at your side. I promise you, it's the safest place you could be right now. But come and see for yourself. This way, and stay close. Here, have some more tea. Would you like another plate? Please, don't be shy. I'm more than happy to let you indulge. The food will go to waste otherwise. It's quite all right. I don't need much for myself. This is all for you. If there's one thing that will keep you up at night, it won't be hunger, at least. Hopefully, it will help you get the good night's rest. Nothing will harm you as long as you stay in the castle. There's no need to keep watch tonight. See for yourself. The forest should be visible from the window. See there? Those monsters won't get any closer than that. The barrier wards them off. It's a little further into the mainland, but they keep a distance either way. I have a bit of a reputation, and so they've learned not to challenge me. That little trick I used to pull you out of trouble earlier isn't a good representation of what I'm capable of. But let's hope it never comes to a point where you need to see it. Best case scenario is that you don't get attacked by monsters again. But your chances are very slim if you attempt to brave their territory again. Might I ask why you're in a hurry? There isn't much past the forest for a long stretch. It'll take you at least a few weeks to find another settlement. And that assumes you survive long enough to make it. There's a reason why not many travelers come through here. If you've gotten this far, then it's likely that you're lost. That's what I'm here for. My castle is here to provide reprieve from the elements and the harsh environment. If I can be a beacon of hope for others, then I've done my duty. It's a difficult life, but my job is an important one, and not many have the drive to fulfill it. I have my reasons for staying, but I try not to share them with strangers. All I can say is that it's important to me. I'm sure you understand. You must have your reasons for wanting to continue on. Would you care to tell me why you're out here to begin with, outside of getting lost? It's probably for the best that we keep our secrets to ourselves, so we don't think too much about who we're sharing a home with tonight. That was the plan. I was going to set up a room for you to stay in. It shouldn't take long. By the time you leave the castle grounds, there won't be enough light to prepare a camp, and nothing so flimsy as a tent will be enough to protect you. The monsters hunt at all times of the day, once even more dangerous than those you encountered this morning. I've dealt with a few myself in the past. I've gone out after dark to look for others like yourself. And, unfortunately, most didn't survive long enough to make it back to the castle. Others lost their battles to the blood curse a few days later. All I can offer you is a comfortable place to die if you choose to leave now. But I think you'd be much better off ending your night in a comfortable bed, without any worry about something trying to kill you. Give me at least one night to prove I can keep you safe. Then you can decide if it was worth taking up my offer. The worst thing that could happen is you die in your sleep from poisoning, without a care in the world, rather than being ripped to shreds in the jaws of a monster. If it helps put you at ease, I'd rather not waste a precious opportunity to have company after going so long without it. Hopefully I haven't lost my sense of hospitality after so long, but I'll let you be the judge. And if it's good enough, maybe you wouldn't mind staying for a bit longer. For as long as you need, really. I don't mind. In truth, I'd like you to. This castle sees enough quiet days as it is. At least for a week. That should give us enough time to prepare you for your travels. Wonderful! I should have your room ready momentarily. Of course, eat as much as you like, and get your rest. Hopefully tonight will make you feel the safest you've ever felt. Oh. You're up rather early. I didn't expect to see you out and about at this hour. Otherwise I would have started preparing breakfast for you. I always start the mornings by maintaining the castle before I head out to patrol the forest. Oh, no, I'm perfectly fine. I have my duties to uphold, so there is little reason to rest. I don't need to sleep quite as much as you do. I don't sleep at all, actually. I'm able to survive without it. Food and drink are the same. My body sustains itself through other means. I think it should be clear by now that I'm not a human. It isn't something I like to share, but I value honesty, as do many others have encountered over the years. Once they start noticing my habits, keeping it to myself only makes them more hesitant to stay. But at the same time, it seems to drive them away once they found out. No matter what I do, they're frightened of me. It's usually why travelers don't tend to stay very long. So I've spent much of my time mulling over what to do to have them stay for longer. I quite like having company, and with how deserted the area tends to be, I can never be certain when my next visitor will come by. The one before you showed up 5 months ago, and the one before that was nearly 2 years ago. Both, unfortunately, only stayed for a few hours. I warned them not to brave the forest in the dark, and they paid the price for it. That's something I've wondered about as well. I must have been doing something wrong if risking their life was a more appealing decision than being my guest. I'd hate to think that the strength I exhibit to kill off such dangerous monsters is the reason they fear me. But without it, I wouldn't be able to save them or entertain the idea of having a companion. I wished to have a long-term companion for many years. But the people who come through here usually have a destination they're desperately trying to make it to. Most travelers aren't here to take a stroll and enjoy the scenery. There's not much to enjoy, unfortunately. And there's only so much I can do to make the castle seem less bleak. I'd brush up on my social skills, but I don't exactly have many people to practice with. Even if it's not much, I think a week of talking with you will help significantly. Much more than the few days I've had over the past couple of years. Oh, I have plenty of things to talk about. There's many stories to share from my time spent here, though most are rather gruesome. There are some that don't involve much bloodshed, but they are few and far between. And most have been drowned out of my memory by years of fighting off monsters. That might be worth sharing. Though how I came to live here is intertwined with my reason for staying. No, I actually don't mind talking about it with you. The worries of yesterday have already been carried off by the winds of today. You've given me no reason not to trust you, or even think you could do anything to harm me. My only hope is that my story doesn't make you think ill of me. I was once an adventurer, much like yourself. I braved these forests, searching for the strength to fell any enemy that stood before me. Call me greedy for wanting more than what I was capable of. But fighting mortals stopped giving me the thrill I once had for battle. So I took up a journey to find greater opponents. But, as you can probably tell, even the strongest of mortals are no match for the monsters that lurk in the area. And so, I had a new goal: to gain the power to destroy them. My journey eventually led me here. The castle itself was long since abandoned due to the increasing incidence of blood cases. Surviving an encounter with those monsters was only the beginning. If you were unlucky to have been bitten by one, their vengeance for losing their prey would come back to haunt you. You'd live out your final days in agony until it consumed you. While I never witnessed the fall of the castle, the souls of its former residents still lingered within the halls, unable to pass on with the hatred they held for the monsters destroying their livelihood. They no longer scare off unsuspecting travelers. Instead, I offer myself to act as their vessel of vengeance. With the strength of hundreds, I gain the power to annihilate any foe who dares cross me. But the cost of using hatred as your blade comes at a steep price. And I am bound to this castle for as long as there is still someone or something to hate. I apologize if that scares you. I know it's why others have decided not to stay. Still, you don't need to worry. I have no reason to hate you. In fact, your presence puts me at ease. It almost feels as though the curse begins to crack under the power of companionship. I don't know if being close with someone will break the chains that bind me to this castle, but in the event that it does, I've chosen to be as welcoming to my guests as I possibly can. At the very least, it helps me feel less alone. Putting my focus on being a good host for my guest takes my mind off the pain, even if it's only for a short while. A week of your time may not seem like much of an ask, but it truly means the world to me. I hope that my story doesn't make a forest full of monsters seem like a more appropriate place to stay for a few nights. I'm glad. But I think that's enough sourness for one day. So, no more stories from me. Oh, no, I don't expect you to share your secrets just because I did. Well, I can't imagine they'd be very pleasant if you want to keep them to yourself. Though I suppose even the good ones are best kept for close friends. Would it be alright if I ask you to share some happy stories that don't involve any secrets? Anything mundane is perfectly fine. Maybe it will give me a few ideas for how to make your stay more comfortable. Thank you. I'd love to hear about that.